I go around and I go around and I go around, I go around. I'm always out, I am always out, I am always out, I'm always out. I keep running so I don't have to go.
I had like all my camera settings set up perfectly, and then the sun just like shines, decides to come out. And my window is like, basically you have my camera here, you have my ring light here, and then my window over there. The sun just decided to come out, so I think I'm gonna keep on looking at my ring light to make sure that I don't look crazy pale or like crazy dark. So I'm like, buddy, you were gone for literally the past hour while I was like prepping for this video, and now you're out. And it's like, please go away. Please go away. So we're sending a message up to the gods, the universe, whatever you want to call it, that the sun isn't gonna bother us in this video. But anyways, if you're new here, my name is Mila. I make everything from postgrad, lifestyle, and bookish type content. And then we also dabble into pop culture. So we talk about movies, we talk about TV shows, we talk about songs, and I do want to dabble into commentary. I don't know how that's gonna work. Probably like TikTok things. I don't know. We're gonna see. Still a work in progress. I'm just like mentioning it in the videos that I'm like uploading, so you guys know that like, okay, this is like something that I do want to discover. If you have any tips, please let me know down below, because I'm still trying to like figure out the ins and outs and like how exactly I want to do it. But yes, that's all that I do over here. So definitely do not hesitate to subscribe. And today we're going to the bookish type content. So we are going to talk about very, very anticipated 2026 releases. So I have 17 that I prepped for you guys. Well, prepped that I like researched for you guys today. I'm sorry, I'm like so paranoid with the sun right now, because I feel like sometimes I'm like filming and everything seems fine, but then when I like put my footage on my computer to edit, I'm like, oh my god, I look like deathly pale. I feel like it looks fine, but yes, I do want to apologize if the lighting becomes like a little bit crazy. And yeah, let's just like hop right into it. So over here I have my computer, so you're gonna see me like looking down to read a lot, but then we're gonna pop the picture of the book right over here. So we have the picture of the book, we see the beautiful cover, and we also discover the summary together. I read a few of these summaries, obviously in like prep for this video, but I feel like I kind of like forget a few of them. And yeah, sure, I can like describe what the book is about, but I feel like I like reading the summary with you guys because I feel like we're like exploring it together. And some books I literally just see the author and I'm like, yes, I want to read. I don't know what it's about. So for example, the book by Abby Jimenez or Carly Fortune, we're going to be discovering those two together, because I generally have no idea what the book is about. I'm not sure when this video is coming out, because I am filming this end of December. So maybe some of these books that come out in January would have came out by the time that you're seeing this, but I still want to talk about them. So the first book we have is Dragon Curse, which comes out, well, it's by Elise Kova, and it comes out on January 6th. The moment you see a dragon is usually your last. Since the dragons emerged along with the scourge that ravaged our lands and people, there's only one human city that remains standing, Vingard. But the hellfire from above is nothing compared to the threat from within. For there is no worse fate than being dragon cursed. Slowly and excruciatingly, you'll be transformed into a mindless beast who destroys everything and everyone you love. Any of us could be tainted. Any of us could be lying. Any of us could be caught and killed by the authorities. And I'm terrified that I might be next. There's only one person who might suspect my secrets. He's like my shadow, following me wherever I go. Part protector, part tormentor, fully annoying. Sometimes I think I am just one of the million unfathomable secrets he keeps hiding. Because Lucan, I want to say his name is pronounced Lucan, because Lucan definitely knows something. And if I'm dragon cursed, death might be the only mercy I get. So this is a standalone fantasy, which I think is great, because something that kind of like scares me about fantasy is like it's a commitment to like multiple books. I feel like we need more standalone fantasy, not because I like have the attention span of a goldfish and I cannot read an entire series. I just feel like sometimes I like to, you know, like obviously I love my like 7-book fantasy series, my trilogies, but I'm also like, you know what, sometimes I would love to pick up a little standalone and have it like just be that book. So I'm actually super excited for this, and the cover looks beautiful. One thing that I feel like a lot of people are talking about is like the sprayed edges debate, whether we like it or we don't like it. I think when like, okay, honestly, romances, I'm like, no, I don't think romances should have them, but I think fantasies should, if it's not just like one color, if it's like something beautiful that actually like, you know, it's a continuation of the cover, it adds to something. I think that is great, because also like I tab my books, I don't want just like a plain color. I don't want something that's like ugly. I'd go like out of my way to buy a like uglier version of the book to like have my tabs look pretty. But this, from what I'm seeing on Goodreads, it looks absolutely beautiful. It's like a dragon, there's like flames, that looks pretty, that is beautiful, that's artwork. My cover mug my copy of The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley, it's green. Like, respectfully, no. The next book we have is called Graceless Heart by Isabel Ibanez, and this is also another standalone fantasy. This book, I remember a little bit of it. It's some type of like Roman historical fantasy type thing. The cover is also absolutely gorgeous. So let's discover it together, because I think honestly this book, I read like the first paragraph or like the first two and I was like, oh my god, yes, sold, I need to buy it. In 15th century Volterra, sculptress Ravina Maffei enters a competition hosted by a secretive immortal family who offer an invaluable boon to the victor. Desperate to win so she can save her brother, Ravina reveals a rare magic talent, a dangerous act, in a city where magic is forbidden. Her revelation makes her a target, and she's kidnapped by the Looney family and taken to Florence, a city of breathtaking beauty and cutthroat ambition. There, Ravina is forced into an impossible task where failure means certain death at the hands of the Saturnino dei Luni. Saturnino dei Luni, I think. That's how you pronounce it. I'm like learning Italian, so I wanted to like, you know, spice it up. My pronunciation can be completely wrong, but I feel like that's how you would pronounce it. The family's enigmatic and merciless heir, but under his cold reserves hides a vulnerability that draws her closer than she ever intended. Meanwhile, Ravina's forbidden magic does not go unnoticed. The Pope, waging war against Florence, the Medici, the magic itself, and his own interest in her abilities, seeing her as a potential weapon in a ruthless campaign. As alliances shift and war brews on the horizon, Ravina must navigate a treacherous line between survival and betrayal, between love and duty. With time running out and her every move watched, the choices she make will determine the fate of not only just her own life, but the fragile balance of magic and power that could unravel Florence itself. So you see what I mean by, I feel like it's like, obviously there's like a fantasy aspect of it, but it feels a kind of like, I don't know, I'm getting a kind of like historical vibe, not because this is like set in like real life times. I don't know, I feel like when I read Medici, I was like, okay, I can like place this in history. Like obviously, like I don't know if we're gonna be talking about like the actual Medici family. I was like, you know what, like Florence Medici, it's giving kind of like medieval Italy-ish. The next one we have comes out January 20th, and it's called Dead in the Waters by John Mars. So I read the one by John Mars, I think back in like summer. I'm sorry if you see my eyes are like kind of like watery. I just spent the past 5 minutes sneezing. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, if I ever come back after a cut and my eyes are like red or I do not look okay, I just sneezed. But yeah, I read the one back in, I want to say like maybe June or like June, July, because I saw the show on Netflix and I was like, oh my god, I want to watch it. But then I saw that there was a book and I was like, oh my god, I have to read it. I absolutely loved it. I haven't read more by John Mars. So when I saw that he had a new book coming out, I was like, oh my god, like let's read it. This book, I generally have no idea what it's about. So this we're actually discovering together. I was just like, John Mars, perfect. I want to read. When Damon survives a near drowning, his life flashes before his eyes. Every moment is crystal clear, except one. A dead boy. A face he can't place. A moment he doesn't remember living. At first he tells himself it's a trick of the mind, but everything else he saw was real. So why not this? With his waking life stalked by the disturbing scene, confusion quickly turns into obsession. Desperate for answers, Damon digs into his fractured past and becomes convinced that the only way to remember is to die again. And again. And again. When he meets a perfect stranger who's all too willing to help, the stage is set for his dance with death. But if this is what it takes to uncover the truth, maybe some memories are better left buried. I find this intriguing. I do not know where this can go. I feel like I've only read like one book by John Mars before. I feel like it's going to take a turn like no one would have expected. It's so vague that I don't know what can happen. Anything can happen. But I feel like I'm really going to enjoy this. So I'm definitely very excited for when this comes out once again on January 20th. So also on January 20th, we have a new book by Alice Feeney called My Husband's Wife. I read the summary and I was like, oh my god, this sounds like it's gonna be so good. I've only read one book by Alice Feeney, Daisy Darker, and I absolutely loved it. I do want to like get through her books, but this one I was like, it actually, oh my god, it's like I can tell it's gonna be an amazing book. Ian Fox, an artist on the brink of her big break, sets off for a run before her first exhibition. When she returns to the home she recently moved into, Spyglass, I guess the house is called Spyglass, an enchanting old house in Hope Falls, nothing is as it should be. Her key doesn't fit, a woman eerily similar to her answers the door, and her husband insists guess that the stranger is his wife. One house, one husband, two women. Someone is lying. 6 months earlier, a reclusive Londoner called Bertie, reeling from a life-changing diagnosis, inherits a spyglass. This unexpected gift from a long-lost grandmother brings her to the pretty seaside village of Hope Falls. But when Bertie stumbles upon a shadowy London clinic that claims to be able to predict the person's date of death, including her own, secrets start to unravel, and as the line between truth and lies blurs, Bertie feels compelled to right some old wrongs. And that's pretty much it. I don't know if there's like a paranormal aspect. I don't know how I feel about paranormal aspects in books. Like, I don't want to give any spoilers in case you haven't read it, but there's one book by like really well-known thriller author. I guess I can say the author is named Riley Sager. I read this one book by him. I'm not gonna say what it is because I went in not expecting a paranormal aspect, and like I loved it, but I feel like when the paranormal aspect came, I wasn't expecting it, and I was like, I actually hate this. So I don't know what I think about paranormal aspects because I feel like, I guess like you can't really know when you're going in because it's like it's gonna kind of like spoil it for you. But then I feel like if I go in expecting it to be like a normal, like very realistic thing, I kind of am like, oh well, that kind of feels like a cop out. I don't know. I feel like this going in knowing that there could be a paranormal aspect is gonna make me enjoy it more. But yeah, it seems very interesting. I'm like super intrigued to see like what happened. And then the last book we have for January comes out on the 29th, and this book seems fun. It seems interesting. It's something that I have not read before, but I'm like, this could actually be a really fun time. And I feel like the cover is so like quirky and like different from anything that I've ever seen, and it's like two like very pretty colors. Esther first sees Ted walking in a park in London. They lock eyes, and for a fraction of a second she feels something she's never felt before. She starts by reading up about his life in Canada and his work as an actor. Then she watches every interview with him online. It isn't long before she's joined Ted's fan site online, where her and the Tedettes, I think that's what you call them, the Tedettes, stalk his every move. When Ted gets a new celebrity girlfriend, Esther decides that things have gone far enough. She leaves her husband, takes all their savings, and buys a one-way ticket to Canada. After all, Ted might not know it yet, but they are meant to be together. He just needs a little bit of persuading. I'm like, what is gonna happen? This sounds absolutely crazy, and I feel like the crazy thing about this is that this sounds like it could be like a very realistic thing that like someone could do, that I'm just so curious. Like, I forget who told me about this book or where I found it, but when I read the description, I was like, oh my god, yes, please. We only have 2 books for the month of February, and the first one comes out on the 3rd, called How to Kill a Guy in 10 Days by Shaylee Thompson. At first I was like, okay, it seems intriguing, like I want to read the summary about it because I feel like I am gonna want to read it. I read the first paragraph and I was like, oh my god, sold. So when Jamie Prescott and her best friend Lori attend a speed dating event, Jamie expects to meet a roster of mediocre men and indulge in some street food afterwards. She doesn't expect for one of her dates to have his throat slit at their table during a blackout. When the light comes back on and there are more bodies on the floor, it becomes clear that speed dating can be a very dangerous pastime. And I was like, oh my god, sold. But like, let's continue the rest. Armed with a makeshift weapon and Jamie's extensive knowledge of what not to do in a horror movie, the remaining speed daters try to find an exit while the killer adds to their body count. As the night progresses and Jamie comes face to mask with the murderer, she begins to suspect he's committing this slaying to woo one of the daters and turn her into his real life final girl. But Jamie has a different love story in mind, and as she fights for her life, she can't help but find herself ensconced in a love triangle. Girl, in a love triangle with 2 of your speed daters when you're like fighting for your life. I'm like, let's get our priorities straight. Will she survive the bloodshed to find her happily ever after, or does this machete wielding psychopath have another final girl in mind? I was like, this sounds so good. I feel like the scary thing is that this can either be executed perfectly and I'm gonna love it, or it can be like, oh my god, this had so much potential and I was like let down. So I really hope it is the former, but I am so excited to read this. And then the second book that we have that comes out in February comes out on the 24th, and it's called Cleopatra by Sarah El Arifi. So we don't have that much when it comes to the description, but it's giving historical fantasy and like mythology. It's literally like 6 lines. So let's go over the little description together. Your historians call me seductress, but I was always in love's thrall. Your playwrights speak of my witchcraft, but I was gifted my talents by the gods. Your poets sing of my bloodlust, but I was protecting my children. They cannot credit that a mere woman could be powerful, strategic, divinely blessed to rule. Death will silence me no longer. This is not the story of how I died, but how I live. So I don't know what to expect. I do not know what to expect. I was Cleopatra for like Halloween in 2025. You know, when I saw this, I was like, oh my god, yes, I'm gonna eat it up, and I'm very excited. We have a decent amount of books in March. There's like 1, 2, yeah, we have 5 5. The first book that we're going to talk about comes out March 3rd, and it's called Just Friends by Haley Pham. A fun fact, Haley Pham and I have the same birthday, which I find like so funny. It's like literally like day, month, year. If you do not know who Haley Pham is, I feel like I haven't seen a video from her for a while. I'm pretty sure I'm still subscribed to her channel unless like YouTube randomly unsubscribed me, but I feel like I haven't seen her pop up for a while now that I think about it. So I hope she's doing well. This book, I didn't even read what it was about. I just saw, okay, like her book is coming out. I do want to read it. I've heard like mixed reviews from people online when I was just like randomly scrolling. Yeah, I don't know what it's about. We're gonna discover it together. Blair and Declan were inseparable growing up, best friends who knew each other better than anyone else. But when an impulsive kiss took them from friends to something more, everything changed. Just as quickly as the romance started, one moment shattered it all, leaving them with nothing but heartbreak and silence. Now, 4 years later, Blair is back in their coastal hometown of Seabrook to support her mom and care for her great aunt Lottie as her health declines. To make ends meet, Blair applies to work at a coffee shop, only to discover it's managed by none other than Declan, the boy she loved, the boy she lost, the boy who still makes her heart race. As Blair's past keeps crossing with Declan's, old wounds resurface, secrets are revealed, and sparks reignite. But could their future ever be free from their past? And it says over here it's told in dual timelines. I don't know if it's like, is it dual perspective? It just says dual timelines. I do not know if we're gonna get both perspectives, but I like the dual timeline in books. I feel like if it's done right, because like sometimes it's like, okay, I'm much more interested in like the present or the past. There was this one book, oh my god, what's it called? I think Say You Still Love Me by Kay Tucker. I love that book so much, and it was like the first time that I was like genuinely super interested in like both timelines, because both could have been its like own book and I would love it, I would read it. So Haley Pham, do not let me down. I am so excited to read this book when it comes out. Coming out on the same day, we have In Her Own League by Liz Tomford. As the first female team owner in Major League Baseball, Reese Remington has spent her entire life preparing for this role. With a sharp mind and years of experience working behind the scenes, she's more than qualified, but the public only sees a woman in a man's world, not the person who's earned her place on the field. Under constant scrutiny and pressure to prove herself, Reese can't afford distractions, especially one that comes in the form of the team's tempting field manager who questions her every decision. I feel like I'm gonna eat this up. Emmett Montgomery is a former all-star turned coach who treats his players like family and the field like home. After years of running the team his way, the last thing he wants is a new boss, let alone one who seems ice cold and laser focused on business. But forced to spend long hours and too many away games side by side, he begins to see the fire beneath Reese's comfort and heart behind her ambition and the unwavering determination to prove herself. When heated banter turns into sizzling chemistry, professional boundaries blur, and the spark between them becomes impossible to resist. But Reese is constantly reminded of how many people are waiting for her to fall, and the safest move is to keep Emmett at arm's length for the sake of the team, the season, and her career. But keeping their distance is one game neither of them can seem to win. I am so excited. I am so excited. I haven't read the, oh my god, what's it called? I think the Windy Cities series, maybe by Liz Tomford, but like I do want to get to it, but this seems so good. I'm so excited. I feel like this has so much potential, so I really hope it lives up to it. We're going back to fantasy. So this is like gothic, and I was like, I love that, because I feel like I love like a gothic romance fantasy, but I don't want something that's like a bit too much. So this, I'm a little bit nervous, but I feel like it could be really, really good, and I think the cover is like absolutely beautiful. And this is actually the first book in, do we know how long this series is going to be? We do not know, so I don't know if it's going to be a duology, a series, a trilogy, who knows. But we have Inamorata by Ava Reed. Yeah, first book in a new series. It comes out on March 17th. Once there was an island where the dead walked the earth and 7 noble houses ruled by arcane secrets of necromancy. A conqueror's blade brought them low, burning their libraries, killing their lords, and extinguishing their eldritch magic. But defiant against a new order stands the House of Teeth and its last living member, beautiful Marozia, the heiress of the house, and her cousin, the uncanny Lady Agnes. Though she has not spoken a word in 7 years, Agnes is the true carrier of the house's legacy, and she has her orders. She must recapture the secrets of death magic and avenge her family's fallen honor. She must arrange a betrothal. I have so much problem pronouncing that word every time it pops up in like a video of her beloved cousin Marozia to Luprand. I don't know how you pronounce his name, heir of the Conqueror's throne, for access to the forbidden library in his grotesquely grand castle. Revenge burns in Agnes's heart, but so do stranger passions, and it is Luprand, the Gold Prince, who speaks to her soul. This passion is as treasonous as it is powerful, poisoning the kingdom's roots and threatening to tear their already shattered realm in two. For Agnes's final order is the greatest. Great Davis. She must not fall in love. I feel like this has so much potential if it's executed oh my god, properly. I feel like every time I film these like anticipated releases, I'm like talking so much that I scramble my words. I like forget to speak English. But no, I'm intrigued. I'm excited. This is giving like duology energy. I don't know. We will see. And then the last two books that come out in March come out on the same day. We have on March 31st, The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez, and this is like the second book in the Say You'll Remember Me series. So I read Say You'll Remember Me. Which character is this about? Larissa. I remember Larissa. Was Larissa a friend, or she works at the clinic? I don't remember, but looking at the name here, I'm like, I remember a Larissa. So yeah, let's see what this book is going to be about. In everyone's life, there's a split-second decision that can change everything. For Larissa, it came when choosing which guy to ride home with after a concert. That night, she had no idea she'd meet the perfect man. She and Chris are great together, co-parenting a slightly unhinged rescue Yorkie, sharing their favorite books, and judging Bread Pumpernickel for the win. For the first time amid all her side hustles to scrape by, things finally feel easy. But Chris isn't the one who drove Larissa home all those months ago. Chris is her boyfriend's best friend. All Chris wants is for Larissa to be happy. Standing by the sidelines is slowly killing him, but making a move could destroy someone else. He is just not that guy. So I am nervous that there is cheating. Like, I'm not against cheating in books if it's like, I guess if it makes sense, if that makes sense. I feel like in no like circumstances it makes sense, but I feel like when it's like, okay, there's like true chemistry and like you can actually see it, not because like, oh, he's hot and like might as well to like stir stuff up. Like, no, I don't like it that way. That's type of circumstance I'm like absolutely not, like, no, I don't want to read it. I feel like it's gonna be tasteful, and it's also Abby Jimenez, so fingers crossed. So this book, as I mentioned, also comes out on the 31st, and it's called The Bridge Back to You by Reese M. Nielsen. This sounds so good, and could it potentially be a 5-star read? I don't know. We will see. Olivia owes everything to Celia's Place. It's where she learned how to be a great chef. It's also where she first fell in love. But at 19, Olivia had a wanderlust she couldn't deny, and Carmelo, whose mother owned the restaurant, couldn't leave Celia's Place behind any more than he could force Olivia to stay. Now, 10 years later, Olivia is a successful personal chef. Her job allows her to travel the world, and she has never stayed in the same place for too long. When Carmelo learns that his mother left shares of her beloved restaurant to both him and Olivia, he plans to buy her portion of the shares back quickly and painlessly. That is, until Olivia shows up at the restaurant, ready to help run it. Carmelo sees a drive, and I feel like there's a word missing here because this does not make sense, because the sentence reads, Carmelo sees and drive Olivia away from his restaurant so that she will want to sign over her shares. Goodreads, can we please fix that? But Olivia sees things a bit differently. She finally has a chance to stay in one place and build a home after years on the move, and perhaps now is the right time to explore whether that home can be with the one who got away. Soon enough, sparks begin to fly, but can Olivia and Carmelo avoid the mistakes of the past? I am so excited, and it's a beautiful cover. I feel like this can be really good. In the month of April, we have two books. The first coming out on the 7th, called The Ending Writes Itself by Evelyn Clark. I feel like it can either go amazingly or horribly. I feel like it could be good. I hope it can be good. 6 authors, 1 private island, 72 hours to write the ending that will change their lives. Arthur Fletch is one of the world's best-selling novelists. He is a reclusive genius known for his iconic protagonist and fiendish twists. When 6 struggling authors are invited to spend a weekend on his private Scottish estate, oh my god, they arrive to discover a shocking secret. Arthur Fletch is dead, and his last book is unfinished. Gasp. Desperate to publish the novel, Fletch's agent and editor have summoned these writers in the hopes that one of them will imagine a worthy ending for his final book. To sweeten the deal, they are offering an irresistible prize, in addition to ghostwriting the last chapter, for a mind-boggling sum. They will also help the lucky writer successfully relaunch their own career, guaranteeing future bestsellers. The catch, the writers have just 72 hours to finish Fletch's magnum opus. Starting is often the hardest part, but getting to the end could be murder. I don't know if it's like what they write is going to come true and then they're going to die, or they're like their life's going to be endangered because like someone didn't want him to finish the book. I do not know. So that's why I feel like it could have like such good potential, but it can also be like horrible. So yeah, we will see. And then the second book that I really want to read that comes out in April comes out on the 23rd, and it's called Don't Fall in Love with Me by Paige Toon. This seems so good, and once again the cover, she's gorgeous. Grace has loved Jackson since she was 15, when they spent every childhood summer exploring France's breathtaking Ardèche region together. together. They were best friends until life took its course and Jackson married someone else. Years later, Jackson re-enters Grace's life with an irresistible dream I think we're forgetting a full stop here. Years later, Jackson re-enters Grace's life with an irresistible dream job in the very town where their story began, and he's newly single. As memories from those idyllic summers flood back, Grace encounters an old friend, Etienne, who proposes a plan to help make Jackson jealous. But as their scheme unfolds, Grace finds herself questioning if the sparks between them might not be so pretend after all. Unbeknownst to Grace, Etienne is harboring a secret that could shatter her world. Will learning the truth finally set her free, or is this the beginning of a love story bigger than she ever imagined? This is kind of giving, I don't want to say every summer after, but I kind of like get that vibe. And then we have like, I'm assuming this is going to be set in France. I feel like, again, this could have such good potential if it's executed properly. So I will definitely be reading this summer. Moving on to May, we only have one book for the month of May, and that's a new book by Carly Fortune called Our Perfect Storm, and it comes out on May 5th. Frankie and George have been best friends since they were 8 years old. Both passionate, impulsive, and headstrong, they've always clashed and come back together. Until now. It's the eve of Frankie's wedding weekend, and she doesn't know where they stand or even if George will show up as her best man. Then, at the start of the festivities, in walks George. For one glorious evening, surrounded by her loved ones, Frankie's life is finally perfect. But it all comes crashing down when her fiance dumps her the next morning, leaving her only a note as an explanation. Sir. Crushed and confused, Frankie returns to her family's home to wallow. But George has a different idea and a plan for healing Frankie's broken heart. He wants to go on her honeymoon. He wants her to go on her honeymoon with him for 1 week to the lush rainforest and misty beaches of Tofino. Frankie agrees, seeing the trip for what it really is. One last chance to repair their friendship, even if it means unearthing secrets and long buried feelings neither knows how to handle, even if it means falling apart for good. I'm intrigued. We're gonna move on to June. So we have one book that comes out in June, and this is a thriller. I think that this could be so good. It's kind of like giving me, like, when I saw this, I thought of 1984, right? It's like the American Horror Story 1984. Is it 1984? I don't know, but like that one when they are at the summer camp gave that vibe. So I was like, okay, interesting. So this book is called The Summer Fun Massacre by Craig DeLuise, and it comes out on June 16th. Summer 1983. A blood-soaked summer camp counselor is found staggering down a country road, the sole survivor of a horrific massacre. Mary tells a nightmare of a masked maniac wielding an old shining knife. Arriving too late to help, her boyfriend Tom Bailey is plagued by guilt. Summer 1992. The camp reopens as summer camp fun. Now, a sheriff's deputy, Tom doubts it is a good idea, but the camp has been refurbished, the counselor is hired, and the little campers are on the way. Responding to reports of a blood-curdling howl near the camp, he again arrives too late to save anyone except a single brutalized teen. The killer nowhere to be found. Hoping to catch the killer and finally right his mistakes, Tom reconnects with Mary. She's convinced that the killer is not human, but instead a rural legend known as the Hungry Hare. I'm just like picturing some like huge, I was gonna say horse, no, hare as in like bunny. Yeah, some like huge rabid bunny. So that's interesting. The sheriff wants the case closed but refuses to believe in folklore. Mary dreams of revenge for her friend, and Tom hunts for any traces of the real or fictional, but the murderer could be closer to home than anyone expects. The hare is coming and is so hungry. I kid you not, that was like the last line of the Goodreads description. I am so curious. I feel like this can be so funny. Why is it giving bunny? You know? And then finally, the last book, we do not have a description, but it's supposed to be coming out the 1st of September. So yeah, we see over here, there's no like really pretty cover, but it is Deadbeat by Leigh Bardugo, which is the 3rd book in the Alex Stern series. Guys, 9th house, Hellbent, Deadbeat. I am so excited to read this book. Like, we have Darlington back, which we love. Oh my god. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but how we had someone who we think would die, but he's like not dead. I don't know how that's going to play out, because Evan was like, oh, like, you know, obviously like, we're happy that he's alive, but it's like, he should not be here. So I don't know how it's going to go along with him, because even though he's like a very side character, he has a spot in my heart. I like that character, and obviously like Darlington and Alex. So I am so excited. I am so excited. I could not wait to read it. Finally, we have book 3. I'm like, Leigh Bardugo, why is it taking 2 years to like come out with the next book? but honestly, like, they're all amazing. So it's like, I can understand the 5 years. And yeah, so those were the 17 books that I am very, very excited to read in 2020. Well, that are coming out in 2026. That I'm very, very excited to read. Maybe not in 2026. I do not know. Maybe 2027, 2028. Who knows? But I do eventually really, really want to read. So let me know down below which books you are very excited for in 2026. I feel like I covered like a multitude of genres. So hopefully there's like something for everyone. But let me know other things that I might have missed out in the comment section down below, as well as your anticipated reads. If you want to go, like check me out elsewhere, definitely what am I saying? Definitely go check out my Instagram, TikTok, and Goodreads. They're all links down below. And if you enjoyed, definitely do not hesitate to hit the subscribe button down below and leave a thumbs up. That's all that I wanted to share today. So stay safe, protect your vibe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, guys.